Hello and welcome to another episode of the Super Soul Model series. I'm your host, James Granström, and thanks for tuning in. I have a brilliant show lined up for you today, and I'm very excited to talk about this because today's show is all about the benefits of understanding your chakras and the part that they play in your life. The benefits of understanding your chakras and energy centers is the difference between living a life in balance and living a life of well-being and success and vitality versus not. The chakras are essentially, in layman's terms, the Indian version of understanding that the body has 7 energy vortex centers lined up from the base of your spine all the way to the top of your head, the crown chakra. And I'm going to go through each of these energy centers or chakras today, and I'm going to talk to them from a Western perspective, not from an Indian perspective, but with the basis of what they do and how they play a key role into you living a life of happiness, health, well-being and success. Because it's very important that you can understand if something gets out of balance, what you can do to get yourself back in balance when you're understanding what the role of this energy center or this chakra plays in your life. Because it becomes quite fun when you know that something's off and there's something you can do about it. And when there's something you can do about it, you're empowered. And when there's something you can't do about it, then you know you feel like disempowered. And that is why the Super Soul Model set up, is because I want to basically empower you, teach you, share with you some things that I've learned that have really helped me on my path to healing, happiness and well-being and success, because that is the most important thing, that we develop this sense of awareness. And it's great during this period of quarantine that we can spend a little bit more time learning and going within to understand what little things that we can do and little tweaks we can do to fine-tune our lives, and some of the habits and some of the events that play out in our life, why they happen and what we can do about it. Because obviously when we can do something about it, happy days, things get better for us. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the first chakra. So the chakra that is the first, which is called the root chakra. The root chakra is based between the perineum and the anus, and it is at the very base of the spine, and it's called the root chakra, and it is the color red. And it is based to do with safety, it's to do with your security, it's to do with your place in the world, it's having a sense of groundedness. And it's a sexual one, hence red is the color of passion and arousal. That is where we're based. This is based near the genitals, this is based near the sexual organs. So when we are out of balance in this particular area, we may find that we're moving quite a lot. You may find that you're moving from home to home quite regularly. I remember a period of time I was like moving from home to home and I was thinking, what's going on? And now when I look back, I was realizing that my place in the world, my sense of security was outward, it wasn't inward. And when I became a lot more centered within myself, it was amazing. I could put down roots and things began to work. But it has to be an internal process. But through each of these chakras, I'm going to give you something that you can do, a solution. But I'll do that towards the end of this show so that you can understand like what each process is. So the root chakra is red. It represents safety, security, and your place in the world. So the more steadier you are, the more centered you are, the more roots you have in your world, the better you'll feel in this chakra. And what this means is that you're steady. And that's really important. Imagine you're a tree with large roots, and the roots grow larger almost than the leaves and the branches above. They also do underneath the ground. No storm can uproot a tree when its roots are so very large. And that's what you want to become, a very strong root-bound tree or human being in the world, with roots to the earth, with roots to its natural well-being. And we do that having by a sense of steadiness. And that's why the root chakra is absolutely brilliant, notified by the current color red. Now the next chakra, as we move up from the spine, the base of the spine, is the the sacral chakra. This is like a peachy orange, and it resides just below the navel. Now, each of these chakras, whilst if you were open up the human body and looked at it biologically, you wouldn't see any evidence of them there. You would energetically only know that through your own experience. So have you ever had like the butterflies when you're really excited to see somebody? That's in your emotions, because the sacral chakra, which is just below the navel, is where your emotions lie, and that's the energy in motion. So you get those good feeling butterflies there in your stomach, just below your navel. This is also the place of creativity. It's also the place of where you have harmonious relationships and money. So money is a very, very attractive energy to this chakra, because when it's in balance, you're getting these gut responses, you know, you're getting this good feeling. And when this is open, when this chakra is open and in balance and spinning at this correct sort of spiral, so to speak, at the correct speed, what happens is your emotions are in check, your creativity is high, you're making plenty of money, and you've got wonderful relationships. Now, when it's not in check, you're going to find your emotions are all over the shop, your creativity is low, you're perhaps not making any money at all, and your relationships suck. So this color is a peachy orange. So good to know. Now, this is also where the gut instinct comes in. You know, if you've seen Businessman and maybe watched The Apprentice, you hear Alan Sugar say, oh, my gut feeling is this. Now, you have the same feeling within yourselves. Your body is always sending you signals. And this is why I love sharing and knowing so much about understanding your chakras, because when you know your body is always sending you signals. But the question is, are you listening? And this is why it's lovely to be able to share this information, because when you begin to listen, you'll begin to know that this makes so much sense. Number 3, the solar plexus. This is what is known as a yellow color. And this is what I call the seat of the soul. And it's based to do with digestion. It's based to do with your personal power. It's your I am. It's where your confidence lies, your personal power. Tony Robbins talks about it, awakening the giant within. But this has to come from this part of the solar plexus, where your power really resides, and your personal power. This is what I call the seat of the soul. When this is warm and this is hot, hence the solar plexus, this is where you're able to really understand the seat of the soul. But I'm going to talk about that on another podcast. But for the purpose of this podcast and this video, it is to do with really digestion and your personal power. And once you understand that, and once you'll play a part of that, have you noticed that often people close their arms and cross their arms, and it happens to just cross them just over the solar plexus below their heart? What you're actually doing is closing your confidence down in that moment. In your body language, you're closing your power down. You're closing your I am power down. And what I mean by I am power is I am great, I am good, I am brilliant, I'm good at this. This is very important, because the words I am and whatever follows them draws into you in your life what comes afterwards. So the I am is very important, and the more in balance that this chakra is, this solar plexus chakra, the better your life will be. Now, moving into number 4. Number 4 is the heart area. This is symbolized by the color green. The heart is all-knowing, and the heart is to do with love and warmth, and it deals with compassion, and love is something that is felt not only towards yourself but to others and in the world. And the more love that we have, and the more that we're able to reside in the heart and practicing sense of gratitude, what happens is you operate more from the heart. And as you do, this electromagnetic center opens up and beams out into the world this frequency that you're sending out from the heart, and comes back to you. So when this center, this heart chakra, is closed, what happens is you might find yourself with a a heart attack. You might find yourself with a closed heart, not being able to love, not being able to let in relationships. But that's because you're learning how to love. And learning how to love takes time. It takes sometimes many lifetimes, but it's the reason why you're here, because the heart is one of the most pivotal of the chakras. So learning how to love is so important, because your life will improve because of the quality of your relationships when you're able to love yourself and others. And of course, you might not be able to love others until you've learned how to love and take care of yourself properly. But I'm going to talk about some of these solutions towards the end of these. Now, number five's chakra is the throat chakra. This is symbolized by the color blue. And blue is this is all about communication. This is about speaking up. This is about speaking your truth. This is about being honest. This is about being true to you. This is about connecting with others. And when it's out of balance, this chakra closes down, and it's almost like the thyroid is kind of near. The thyroid is just on the side of the neck here. And when you're not able to speak up, and you're not able to communicate, and you're not able to express your honesty, what happens is that the throat chakra closes down, and as it does, you become out of balance, and you can have throat problems and all sorts of things. And that is why when you're able to speak up, speak your truth, and be able to communicate openly and lovingly, this throat area thrives. Have you ever noticed that sometimes people go really nervous and red around their neck? I have on several occasions before, and noticed that when I find something very difficult to talk about, my throat area would get red in the past. But as you begin to heal, as you begin to become aware, as you begin to wear more blue, or spend time near the ocean more, or spend time lovingly communicating with people you care about, and speaking openly and honestly for the benefit of not only yourself and others, this area thrives. Your throat area thrives. And it's so important to be able to have this open communication, because people love to communicate with people who are open and honest, because they have this sense of reliability, this sense of well-being. And that's so important for us as we move through this chakra. Now, number six, the number six chakra is the third eye. And this is represented by the color indigo. Now, the third eye is to do with intuition, it's to do with wisdom, it's to do with understanding. It's also where you can have gifts of like ESP, having a sense of clairvoyance, having a sense of clairsentience, which means hearing or feeling. So having these sort of spiritual gifts are much more to do with the head now. And in order to understand that, you work towards, it's more to do with quietening life, being able to listen, because obviously the third eye is not far away from being able to, from the ears, and the ears have like chakras as well, but it's not obviously down the same line. But listening is such an important part. And a person also, if I go back to the throat chakra, a person who talks too much means that their throat chakra is spinning too fast. So it's getting out of balance the other way rather than having problems the other way. So listening is such an important part, which is why the third eye is just pretty much online with the ears as well. So that is an indigo color. And it's to do with understanding, it's to do with intuition, and it's to do with wisdom. And so you might find yourself with some sort of headaches if you're not learning to quieten the mind, if you're not learning to enjoy a bit of still time and quiet time, and you get headaches. So that's to do with the third eye. That's when that chakra is a little bit out of balance. And last but not least, in the physical body, is the seventh chakra. And the seventh chakra is at the very top of the head, and it's called the crown chakra. And the reason why it's called the crown is because it's spirituality, it's divinity, and it's this all-knowing and sense of well-being and connection with heaven. We're on earth, and there's this old spiritual principle, which is as above, so below. And this is where you access the all-knowingness of the cosmos and the cosmic consciousness and the understanding of how everything has come about when this chakra is particularly opened. Now, what would that be like if it was out of balance? You could have a spiritual crisis. You could have, problems with the very top of your head. It means that you're not listening to the information that's being guided. So you might find yourself having incredible stress, which means that your hair might fall out or something like that. But either way, it's important to understand that the crown chakra is where you're receiving spiritual information from light. Because the sun is above us and it beams on top of our heads. And as it beams on top of our heads and we take it in through our skin and through our eyes, we're receiving information. And whilst you may not be able to decode what that information, because it's light, all lights travel in prisms. And that is why each of these 7 colours represents one of the colours of the prisms and one of the colours of the rainbows, which leads me beautifully into the solutions of understanding your chakras if they're out of balance. So let's go back to number 1, the root chakra, red. Or if you wear the colour red and you find yourself a little feeling insecure or feeling a lack of safety, or not really knowing your place in the world, or not feeling sexy and you want to feel sexy, start wearing the colour red. Start eating foods or making smoothies which are the colour red. I've currently got like a melon smoothie, and I would say this is pretty much a lovely red lush colour. This is definitely to do and helps with that sort of base root chakra. Now, all of us are living at sometimes different levels, usually the lower 3 chakras, which is the root, the sacral, and the solar. And some people are living from the heart, throat, third eye and above. It's like the top half or the lower half. And before I started doing these podcasts, I would definitely say for a period of time I was living in the heart and above towards like the spiritual centers, which is great, but there's no good if you're not grounded. And that is why it's so important to understand the lower 3 chakras. And most of the world are actually living in the lower 3 chakras, in the root, in the sacral and the solar, because they don't necessarily have the awareness of the heart yet, the throat, the third eye and the crown. So you're going to find more spiritual communities of people living more in their heart and above, but they're quite airy-fairy. So if they're airy-fairy, it means they haven't worked yet on those lower 3 chakras, the root, the sacral and the solar. And you need to work on every single one of these chakras, or at least have an awareness and understanding of what the benefits and maybe what some of the problems are, so you can rectify them if you fall out of place. Now, it was really when I started understanding the groundingness and understanding that, being connected to the earth, spending more time in nature roots you, spending more time connecting with the earth in some way, shape or form, either through gardening or through swimming in the ocean, or walking on barefoot in your back garden. This connects you to the earth. This connects this lower center chakra, and it connects you to the world, and it gives you groundedness, and it makes you work through life and business and whatever and your relationships in a grounded way. And when you're grounded, you're able to really be methodical about how you roll and how you work. And you've got a great sense of security, and you're reliable, and people trust you. And that is great, because when you're grounded and you're steady and you're secure, it's a beautiful characteristic to have. So that's color red. You can root yourself by walking barefoot outside on the grass in your home, or swimming in any of the water, because water is also a grounding element too. Drinking plenty of water is imperative for you. Sort of red foods, red smoothies, that kind of things, and wearing the color red. That is the secret to be able to balancing this chakra. If you find yourself, again, if you've found yourself moving from place to place so regularly, what that really means is that chakra is out of balance. Now, an affirmation you could say is, why am I safe and sound? Why am I safe and sound? Why am I secure? Because when you ask that question, the body and your mind, which is like a question, Google, you type it into Google, what's the answer? It will have to find you, and then you will start taking actions in the place. But wearing red, eating and drinking red foods, grounding, very helpful. And just being methodical about how you work and how you move through life is very important to this particular chakra. Number 2, the sacral chakra. If you find your emotions are out of check, your creativity is low, you're not making much money, or your relationships are not that great at the moment, it means this chakra is out of balance. Or you might find yourself spinning way too fast, too much of everything. You're way too emotional, you're way too addicted to certain things, like addicted to sex, or you're addicted. It means that this chakra is spinning way too fast. So these are spinning too fast or too slow. And how are you going to know if it's in balance or not? You're going to know by the level of your ease as you move throughout your day, as you move throughout your life. The more ease that you have, the more peace and inner harmony that you have, the more you'll know it will come into place today. And that is wearing like a color of orange, like a peachy orange. So you can have more foods like carrots, you can have cantaloupe, lemons, anything that's orange in flavor, and wearing more orange really, really helps. It's very interesting that the Buddhists use orange robes as a celibacy token, considering that is also part of your sacral chakra. So there's lots of things where you're going to find like the colors really mean something. So I've got a friend who taught me so much about colors, and that's why a lot of my clothes often have colors, because colors breed confidence, and colors activate different areas and energy centers, or these chakras in your body doing different things. And as your light sees these beautiful colors, that's why I love fashion as well. And you're looking on the runway, watching different clothes, all of these drawing these beautiful emotions and beautiful feelings. And as you kind of ingest through your eyes the physical pleasures, they do something for your body, they do something for your internal pharmacy, they do something for your internal chemistry. So each of the colors do something so important for you, hence the rainbow and the prism, because a white light is comprised of all of these lovely colors of the rainbow, the 7 colors of the rainbow. And as we move up the rainbow, as we move up the chakras, we're now moving into the solar plexus, which is the yellow. So if you're not confident, or your digestion's out of track, and you're finding yourself maybe eating way too much and having problems with the stomach, means that this solar plexus chakra is out of balance. And the best way to do that is have more things to do with your immune system. So getting your having ginger, bananas, mangoes, all these lovely yellow colors, wearing more yellow. This really helps get this chakra back into balance again, helps it start oscillating at the natural speed it's meant to. So and it's the seat of the soul. So the more confidence that you have, and confidence is the ability to take risks, but doing it through taking risks and then having a result and thinking, yeah, I'm pleased I did that, and tried it again and again and again. And if we're not confident, we're never going to do anything. And if our body language is closed, if our physiology is closed, which means we're always folding our arms, always trying to protect our stomach or our heart, or close ourselves down, what that means is you're closing this chakra down. And you're closing the ability to have better digestion, better personal power, more confidence. So it's so important that you start to be aware of what you're doing, because the awareness is the first step. And then once you have the awareness, you can start taking the actions to help you benefit from understanding these chakras. Now, number 4 is the heart. So as you spend more time in nature, most of the planet, aside from the beautiful oceans, is green, and green represents the heart. And it's funny that the earth is also spelt like the heart as well, just with the H moved around. And this is the color green. So wearing a little bit of green helps you get back into the heart, helps your eyes and your energy pick up this loving energy, the love and warmth to yourself and others. And if you're finding it difficult to love, or if you suffered from a heart attack, or suffered from not having great relationships, it means because you're still working on the heart area. And one of the ways you can do that is by putting your hand on the heart and thinking about all the things you're grateful for. And as you put your hand on your heart, you begin to now become in tune with your heart. There's a heart coherence, and that generates love and warmth, kindness and compassion. And the more kind and loving you are towards yourself, which means you're not beating yourself up so much. If you beat yourself up in terms of your own self-talk, what that means is you're starting to oscillate this, or should I say the energy center or this chakra will spin out of balance. So the kinder you are to yourself, the more loving you are to yourself, the more time you give yourself, the more time you give yourself like sacred space to just maybe go and take some time out, go for a walk, relax, do something that you like to do. This helps you tap back into the heart. This helps the heart get back to its natural rhythm. And so it's beautiful. Color green, eating lots of green foods, plant-based foods, lots and lots of green foods. This helps you and keeps your heart healthy. A healthy heart is a happy heart. And of course, you can do that by putting your hand on your heart, like I mentioned, eating lots of green foods, wearing green, and just practicing love and kindness towards yourself and others. And that will help the heart really be in its power and help it spin this chakra in its perfect way. Now, as I move up the chakra system and I move through the rainbow, the next after the green is the throat, which is the color blue. And this is for speaking up your truth, communication. And when you're speaking your truth with honesty and love, you know, what you are is you're honoring yourself. So your throat area and your communication opens up. And I love the color blue. Blue is probably one of my favorite colors. And that's when I realized that was one of my gifts. One of my gifts is being able to communicate. I've always had a blessed gift to be able to communicate well. And I realized it was because I love the color blue and I love the ocean, and I love realizing that I do speak my truth, I do speak up, and I am honest and I am open, and I love to communicate. And that's what's important. That's what's important for me. And I realized that when that goes out of check, you'll realize that the throat will close down. And if you're not doing that, and we all do it at some point, we're always in and out of sometimes of balance. That means you just got to be open and speak up and speak your truth and be honest. And it's an empowering place to be. And so blue, so spending time by the ocean, wearing blues. And if you look in your bedrooms as well, if they're blue, they're calming. And so this is a great place, because great communication needs to come from a poised, calm perspective, because the calmer you are, the higher your vibe. And the higher your vibe, as you communicate, what you're able to do is really articulate real communication, which means it goes above just the words. It means that someone is actually listening and going, what you're saying is true. And that's important, to be able to communicate from from a higher vibe, because some people can say things and yes, they're hurtful, and that will also close the show. Every time you are hurtful or complain, you're beginning to close that throat chakra down. But every time you're appreciating, every time you're being open, every time you're speaking up, speaking your truth, you're allowing this communication vehicle throughout your throat to be able to really step in its power and turn on that stereo frequency. Now, number 6 is the third eye. Now, the third eye is the color indigo. When it's out of balance, which is you won't feel like you're being able to have any intuition, your ideas are poor, you don't really have much understanding, you'll have plenty of headaches. But once it begins to be open, what it means is the way you can do this, the way that you can allow the chakra to really open up to its best ability, is to quiet the mind, learn how to meditate, learn how to be more still, learn practice of listening to Mother Nature, spending time more in Mother Nature, soothe this area, soothe the front part of the forehead, soothe the third eye. And as it does, you start to eavesdrop on what the third eye and what your body's telling you, giving you insights, giving you intuition, giving you wisdom, giving you feedback on what's right for you personally. And it's a magical place to be because you can make instinctive, great business decisions from all the ideas that you get downloaded and receive from this area. That is marvelous, and that is great. So having this third eye open and working in your favor isn't necessarily just mystical, although there you can have like some psychic abilities, but that's no different from anything, because we are multi-dimensional beings. We're not just sight, smell, hear, touch, taste. We're more than that. We have the ability to understand. We have the ability to receive good ideas. It's like a lot of people who write music, you know, this is where it comes from. They're like, oh, I wonder where I got that idea from. Noel Gallagher talks about it, like, I wrote Supersonic as long as it took me, you know, the boys to go down to get a Chinese and come back. So it's great. These ideas just drop into the mind. They drop in, and as you receive these ideas, happy days. And that's when you can put them to good use. So being able to still the mind, being able to listen to the mind, opens it up. And once you do open your third eye, as you close your eyes, what you might notice is you might begin to see like one single eye by itself. When my third eye began to open up years ago when I first started meditating. Now, has it always been open? No, it just goes up and down. But the more I meditate, the more I'm able to receive these good ideas. And like even today, I was like thinking what I wanted to do for the podcast today. And I went for a swim, closed my eyes, boom, got a great idea. And here I am being able to talk about the chakras. And I think it's a beautiful thing for people to understand your chakras and benefit from how to use them effectively and what you can do about them if you notice they're out of balance. And the final chakra is the crown chakra. And that is the color violet, and that's also about the color that I'm wearing today if you're watching the video. And it's just like I love these t-shirts with the different colors on them. This is to do with spirituality, divinity, and knowingness. Now, back in the day, all regal people used to wear the color purple because they realized that the spiritual wisdom really came from this color violet and from this color purple, which is a purple color. And if you look at like things like tennis, like, you know, Wimbledon's really famous for its color, you know, like the green and the purple. If you look at the tennis rackets, because it's the king, it's the royal association with this sport, and it's a sport of kings to some people. So it's very interesting that people and companies that use the color violet and purple within their logos or within their coloring and within their branding, what they're doing is tapping into this spiritual wisdom, this divinity, this regality, this knowingness. And if that's out of balance, what happens is you can find all sorts of, again, more headaches or things like that can happen. Or you can have like certain crises in your life is because you're not listening to what life is trying to share with you. And so the more that you're able to listen, the more able to quiet the mind, the more you're able to spend more time in nature, you start to become in tune with the signals that your body is sending it. Each of these 7 chakras in the physical form, there are more chakras that are outside the physical form, that are around your energy center. I think there are like at least another 4, and in some places people say they're up to like 52 higher. But for the sake of the physical form, and using the colors of the rainbow, each of these colors and eating the colors of the rainbow foods is so beneficial to helping balance these chakras and helping them balance and oscillate at the right speed. And as they oscillate at the right speed, you're going to find yourself, if you're in the sacral chakra, making more money really easily. You're going to be feeling really feel a real sense of safety and security. No matter where you are in the world, you're going to feel safe and secure and, highly sexual. And that's great. And that's healthy and vigorous. And we want that in our life. And as you're feeling your power and you're feeling your confidence and you're feeling, like your body's in good check, that means your solar plexus is in balance. And as your heart and you're feeling more love and warmth towards yourself and others and feeling a great sense of interconnectedness and compassion and love for one another, that means your heart's open. And as you're able to communicate and speak openly and easily, that means your throat chakra's open. And as you're able to understand and have this sense of intuition, sometimes this feeling of like, I knew that was going to happen before it happens, that's your third eye giving you insights. And insight means sight from within. And intuition means the teacher from within. And so it's amazing that all of these, the words have been constructed for the English language, come from old understandings, old ancient teachings, and they've been sort of passed down through the ages and into our language, which we use. So insight, intuition, instinct, all of this comes from within. So when you understand your chakras, when you understand and become aware of what each of these 7 chakras do and each of the colors represented, then you can have far more effect on bringing more success, happiness, well-being into your life. And of course, finally, the crown chakra, which is the spiritual wisdom and divinity and all-knowingness. And once you have this sort of sense, you find that there's a real inner peace going on, and you're knowing that you're being guided by something greater than just this physical form. And it comes through light. And obviously, as you can tell by Newton, he did that theory that white light, like sunlight, for instance, travels in waves, but it also travels in the colors of these 7 colors of the rainbow. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this talk today, and I hope that there's some great information for you to take away. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to write in. I love talking about this stuff, and I'd love to share with you give you any answers that you might have regards to understanding your chakras and these energy centers. You can contact me at James Granström on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And as always, I just want to say a huge thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. I love doing these, and if you love this video, if you love this podcast, please subscribe and please share it with as many people. It's so fun for me to share a lot of these understandings and these wisdoms that I've come across, and I'm trying to do my best to put it into a form that's really easy to digest and understand, so that you can benefit, enjoy greater success, happiness, health and vitality and well-being. Anyway, my name is James Granström. You've been listening to the Super Soul Model series, and I wish you green lights all the way.